Imagine a scenario where you were walking with your girlfriend because it was date night and you decided to take her to a place like the Las Vegas Strip for a night out, or even maybe like a college campus, and where there's a lot of drinking going on, a lot of drunk people, and a big ass bodybuilder just happened to walk by and like smacked her booty or touched her inappropriately. The question is, what would you do? I know what I would do, and I'm gonna tell you next, coming up on this video. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chris. Welcome back to Sicat Kickboxing Club. And guys, if you're liking this video and if you followed me for a while, please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you're getting a lot of value out of it, and share it with anyone that wants to learn the art of kickboxing and self-defense, or to just get confident through the art of kickboxing. I also run a martial arts podcast from high-level pros to hobbyists to practitioners. Go check that out. I'll click the show links down below. And also go check out my website, chrissicat.com. Join my email list. I'm trying to build a strong kickboxing community, martial arts community, at that matter. So yeah, let's get started. So obviously this is hypothetical, and I want to start off saying that I don't condone violence. These are just hypothetical videos that we see on Instagram, and you know, they're topics like, it's one of those like bar talks with our friends. It's like, what would you do if you know, you were walking down the street, you know, slapping your girl's ass? Like, I've seen some clips and reels on Instagram, and actually I've seen some real life scenarios where that actually happened, and people happened to just catch it on tape. And the guy was a professional boxer, and he just dropped like 3 guys because they were disrespecting like his lady, I guess you could say. So again, before I tell you what I would do, I don't condone violence. Try to avoid it at all times. It's not worth it. The consequences aren't worth it. So saying that, let's get started. What I was saying is that if I were walking with, say, my girlfriend, and someone, you know, like intentionally maybe smacked her booty, as I was saying, I would definitely say something. I'd be like, hey man, you know, you're kind of out of line over here, just because that you want to let them know that what they're doing isn't right. And they probably know that. They're probably out of their heads. They're probably already drunk. But as, I guess you could say, a man, you know, not like, and I'm not saying like as an alpha dog kind of like, you know, red-pilled Andrew Tate kind of thing, but for me, I have the obligation as just a person with integrity and like the right to look after my partner to at least say something. But the caveat to that is that I don't want to escalate the situation, right? I always say on my self-defense videos to avoid, you know, any conflicting scenarios at all times, just because the consequences aren't worth it. But in this case, it's almost like, hey bro, like, you know, take it easy. And it is a hypothetical video. So I'll just say, hey, look, can you please not do that, right? Because you want to refrain him from doing it to like another girl, right? To be touching her and like touching them into inappropriate ways. So I would definitely say something, but not to the point where like I'm angry and I'm like ready to scrap per se. So let's get down to the meat of it, right? So if it were to get into like a physical interaction with the guy, like if I told him that, and then he would say, what, you got a problem with me, right? And again, I want to say this is all hypothetical, right? And if things were to get physical, number one, I'd definitely grab my keys, tell my girlfriend to go in the car, just get away from the scenario, just in general, like just get out of the environment. I will try to de-escalate the situation as much as I can, but if he was, let's just say if the guy was blacked out drunk, or just he was like a mental case, out of his mind, and things were to get physical, this is what I would do as a trained fighter, okay? If things were to get physical. Number one, I would angle out. So what I mean is that I've explained this in a few videos, right? I would angle out, meaning say if this was the guy right here, right? He's facing me. Before we get into like a physical interaction, I would take a step over here, okay? And the reason why is because he needs to literally face me forward to hit me, right? So if I was facing the bag, we're linear to each other, so we can hit each other like this, okay? If I were to take an angle, right, step this way, and then he was still turned this way, before he can actually hit me, and I'm gonna see the cues in his body if he wants to throw a punch, he literally has to turn around and face me to get the full power. Yeah, he could probably swing like this, but I'm gonna see that coming, right? Especially if you're trained to see that. So, meaning that slight angle could change anything. And I remember George St. Pierre talking about this on the Lex Friedman, like one of his clips on the podcast, where he'd take an angle. I just want to give credit to that because that's where I got it from, is that he'll take an angle here, and then again, the guy has to literally turn around so that he can hit you with like his full power. So that'd be number one, okay? Number two is that, or before I move on to number two actually, is because you want to be always thinking one step ahead when you're in those scenarios, right? And that's thinking one step ahead. It's because you're already taking an angle without him being aware of it. You already have an intention to counter his intention, which is probably just a fight. So I'm gonna angle out, and knowing the things that I know now as a trained fighter, I know he's gonna have to take that time to turn around with me, and you know, if he wants to hit me, it's gonna take him even just seconds. I can react to it, like I can punch him as he turns around. So it gives me that like 2 seconds or a second to react, and that's really all I need. So moving on to number two, if, you know, we were to really stand up and, like, I guess you could say square up with each other, meaning if he was right here, think of like a person right here, and then we were just to, okay, let's fight, you know, let's do this, like how you see on those, again, Instagram videos. If he was a much bigger guy, and, you know, like the Bradley Martin kind of like, yeah, I'm 260 and all I have to do is grab you and overpower you, there is some truth to that, okay? There is some truth to that, because strength does matter. Like, yeah, I know technique and skill, all of that stuff matters, but like attributes and genes and all that stuff do too. Like, imagine a LeBron James fighting. Like, he had the skills to fight, right? Like that's one scary thing. This guy's like 6'8", 6'9", 280 pounds or something like that, and then he can move like John Jones. Like, that's the scariest thing that I've probably ever seen. You know, I'd probably ever see if that were to ever happen. But the point is that against bigger guys, and I'm 5'5", I'm pretty short as far as, you know, the standard. So what I have to do is really be strategic of what I'm doing, and that's in the gym or in the quote unquote streets or in a self-defense kind of aspect. So what I want to do against a bigger guy, being a shorter opponent in that scenario, and look, there's not a one size fits all, okay? It's not a one size fits all. It's scenario based, right? Depending on how the guy moves and all that. But for the most part, let's just think of a, like, say a big bodybuilder that is, let's say, semi-trained, right? He's taken a few boxing classes and, you know, whatever. So what I would do as a smaller guy, if we were, like I said, to square up like this, is I would keep the range and distance. That is so important. That is so important, because with a bigger guy like that, he has so much strength that if he grabs you, yeah, he can pick you up and like throw you down and possibly really, really hurt you, you know? And that's not good. That's, once someone grabs you, and if you don't know how to get out of that scenario, if you've never grappled or wrestled or done jiu-jitsu before, it's really hard, or Muay Thai clinched before, it's really hard to get out of his hold. So saying that, as say like a pure kickboxer, if you don't know any grappling, I'd keep the distance. So what I do is, like, say for here, right? On here, I'd manage my range, and I've talked about this in other videos, that your longest weapon are your kicks when it comes to kickboxing, right? Your longest weapon in boxing, the sport of boxing, are your hands, right? Here you go. I'm gonna mention it again. If you could touch someone right here with your front lead, then you could hit them anywhere, right? But that extends to kickboxing more, because now your legs are longer, are the longest part of your body. So in that scenario, going back to that scenario, what I would do is, you know, I'd move around right here and I would just range them up. I like to use that term, range them up, because that's literally what you're doing. You're keeping range to keep them away. So as he's moving forward, right, he's coming at you, this big scary guy. He's just, you're kind of freaking out a little bit. That's another thing, is you have to stay calm, okay? Even though I know these things could get hectic, the scenario could get hectic. You got some big ass dude coming at you, but you know, if you're trained enough, then you most likely you're gonna know what to do. So yeah, range him up. So meaning I'm gonna hit him with a jab, I'm gonna hit him with a teep, I'll even hit him with a low, and then I'll kind of just back away, right? I'll kind of back away, and I'll keep doing the same thing over and over and over, right? Because most likely he's not gonna know what to do with that. And I know that if he rushes me, here's the second part to it. If he rushes me, then all I have to do is circle out and then angle out. So what I mean by that is that you don't want to move just linearly, okay? You don't want to move in a straight line, what I call the train tracks, okay? So here's the train tracks, right? You don't want to move just straight back and forth, right? Over here, just straight back and forth. You don't want to move just straight forward. Now, looking at this angle, what you want to do, especially for bigger guys, is that you want to move, look, you want to circle, and you want to take angles. See? Look at like my footwork, okay? My feet right here. Look what I'm doing. You can go in a straight line, but you have to mix it up. And this goes not just for like the quote unquote streets, but then that's what we do as like I guess you could say in kickboxing, right? You're literally taking angles. That's a part of the technique that we do as trained fighters. So what you want to do is kind of step at an angle here, and then you could go forward, right? You could go here, you could circle out like this. That's what I mean by that. And then whilst you're doing that, look, so if I pretend that this was, you know, the bodybuilder, the big ass bodybuilder, this is what I would do, right? Technically. Oh. You see that? I'm not, per se, going in a straight line and just headed towards him. That's a bad idea. That's what he wants you to do. For me, I'm almost like playing Chase Me, right? Like a Tom and Jerry. Like he's Tom and I'm Jerry. I'm like the mouse. But I'm literally going from side to side, angling out so that he has a hard time trying to grab me or even hit me, right? Even as I mentioned, a shorter fighter. So that's what I would do. So the last thing in that scenario, after I range him, and if he did happen to get close, right? If he got within range within me, now you know where I'm going with this. It's elbow time, it's knees time. That's what I would do, because it's a close quarter weapon that a lot of people don't think about. Let's say just an untrained fighter, right? This is this is specifically for that. Like an untrained to semi-trained fighter, right? Because it's a whole different thing when you got two very experienced fighters going to fight out in the street. And you rarely see that happen because their self-awareness, like they go to the gym and, you know, they have a lot of respect. Martial artists have a lot of respect for each other, and you'll barely see two martial artists going at it in the quote-unquote streets, right? That's why I make these videos. It's like almost a real life scenario to where you're not gonna run into too many, like two experienced guys going at it, right? Because it's just a part of like martial arts. You let it out at the gym, and you know, at times like you let it out at the gym and you're tired and you just don't want to fight anymore, honestly. But if someone were to get close to me, okay, yeah, I'd definitely just range them up with elbows, right? Say if someone grabbed me, if someone tried to grab me like this, I could clinch them. I could do the clinch game, you know, I could grapple them and stuff like that because I do jiu-jitsu and the clinch of Muay Thai and all that. But let's just say from a attacking scenario, I'd boom. If they came up to me, right? It's close quarter weapons. Like if they were going like here, well, here you go, right? Like, because I don't want to use my hands too much because number one, as I mentioned in other videos, these are very fragile. You could break them very, very easily. But if you can do like a short uppercut or a short boxing hook. That's great. But then I'd prefer, because you know how I love my elbows and knees, to do this because they're the hardest part of your body. And I guarantee you, if you hit them right with the proper technique, they will drop. They will drop, no questions asked, or you know, whatever, depending on what type of elbow you're doing. That slicing elbow, boom, boom, tomahawk, boom, right? They will drop. Like it's just the hardest part of your body, regardless if you're a smaller person or not, right? There's so much force in the elbows and knees and close quarter weapons that you don't need to do much in order to pull those off if you practice it on a daily basis, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I would do. And I want to say again, I want to keep repeating this because guys, it's just not worth it. I do these self-defense videos for that. It's for self-defense. It's not to, again, condone violence. Like that's not what we're about. You'll never catch me in that scenario. Like even if a drunk person was quote unquote disrespecting me, I'd try to de-escalate the situation any way I can. And for the most part, I just get away from them. I'd be like, look, man, I don't want any problems. You know, that's because I have confidence in myself that I know what I could do. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth it with the law. It's not worth it with, you know, like showing off. Like, I don't even care for that, right? Like just, so it's not like an even sum game. It's like, just avoid all situations, but it's always good to have in your toolbox. It's good to be confident about yourself, knowing that you have that in your toolbox in case something goes down. At the, you know, the worst case scenario, okay? And again, guys, I like teaching because it does empower. It does empower you, and it does build self-esteem and confidence within yourself. So train kickboxing, and you know, like the more you train kickboxing, honestly, the less violent you'll be, okay? So that's the message that I want to put out. It's great to know kickboxing, but you shouldn't use it for just, you know, bullying people or violence, obviously, right? But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you for today. Thank you for watching. Comment on the video on your thoughts. Like this video, please subscribe, and check out the podcast. I'll see you guys on the next one.